everybody. Welcome back. Another week kickoff, cruising with Smooth. Got a way out of normal topic for today. So, I want to talk about gifts versus experiences. Before I get into it, though, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you like what you've seen or heard so far. Feel free to give us a comment. If you like it, I want to hear what about it you like. If you don't, comment. I can take it. I got a thick skin. And if there's anything that you want to hear my opinion on, I'd love to hear from you in the comments section and put together a show on whatever it is that interests you and just my overall take on that. Today, I want to talk about gifts versus experiences. And where I'm going with this is, as a kid, growing up, my mother always started Christmas shopping December 26th. She had a very good spot under lock and key that she could hide all the Christmas presents that she got from my sister and I. So she didn't have to worry about us getting into it as kids. So she could do Christmas and birthday shopping whenever she found something that she thought or knew that we would like to have. And I'll tell you, Christmas days rocked. Like 90% of the time. There was 1 or 2 years growing up where times were a little lean. And Christmas was a little bit more slim than my parents wanted it to be. But Christmas was just a fun time with my family always. And I tell you, I always had fun opening the Christmas presents. I don't think there was ever a sheet of wrapping paper that was safe. Dad, he was a weird creature. He would take his pocket knife out and cut the tape so that the wrapping paper could be reused. And I've never understood that. I'm a big fan of gift bags because you can kind of reuse those. But anyway, I can remember off the top of my head maybe a dozen gifts that I was given over the years. I remember my first boombox. I remember getting a really nice camera for Christmas one year. Dad gave me a hunting rifle for Christmas one year, and that was a very meaningful gift because it was his dad's. Got a paintball set up for Christmas one year, I think. Got an Xbox for Christmas one year. So, and that's just kind of like the bigger gifts. You know, there's a lot of stuff that it was cool toys. I got a bunch of remote control cars too. Those were always fun. But I don't really remember everything, but I tell you the things I do remember. Experiences that my parents gave me. When we were little kids, my mom in the fall of the year used to take us on a short sightseeing railway ride. There is a local museum / business that wasn't far from where I grew up that did regular outings, and some of them were themed. Like they did some where they were they'd have bandits come out and rob the train, so to speak, on horseback. They'd ride up next to the tracks and jump on and rob the train, things like that. It was all fun. We did stuff like that. I remember a couple times as a kid, my dad was a traveling salesman. He covered all of our state and a little bit of the states to the north and south of us. And I remember several times he and I would go out and have a day seeing clients and pursuing just leads that you do when you're in the sales business. And I remember Mom always had fun getting me all dressed up to be Dad's little traveling salesman mini-me. There was a couple times he took me to museums that I thought were interesting. World War II type stuff. I've always had a fascination with that. I remember a couple times Dad and I ended up taking a road trip out to this little tiny town in our state that he actually used to live in for a small period of time when he was in his 20s. And we just kind of chilled out. We got a hotel room, seen the things to see there, which wasn't much. We ate at one of the oldest restaurants in the state, probably, which is kind of like Steak and Shake setup at the, like, eating at the bar meets White Castle, easiest way to put it. We did that a couple times when I was growing up. Mom would take my sister and I to pumpkin patches or stuff like that growing up. I remember one time she took my sister and I to a strawberry patch, and they said, you pick all you want, we weigh it at the end, and you can eat all you want while you're back there. I don't think my sister and I picked half a pound of strawberries, but we probably ate a pound of them. And we were little kids. Our arms, our faces, and our shirts were just covered in strawberry juice. I remember my parents, there was a water park about a half-hour drive away from the house. There were several times they'd take us there. Mom would take us there semi-regularly. They had an indoor place on it, and so we could even go up there in the winter months, and that was always a lot of fun. One of my most fond memories of Dad, who passed away a few years back, is he and I took a road trip out and back in a day. We were on the road for around 16 hours. I had a truck that was having an engine knock, and thanks to I'm not going to get political in this one. I could, but I'm not. We'll just say that there was not an abundance of replacement engines for that, and I didn't really want to pull it out and rebuild it. I just wanted to find a good, decent mileage engine and throw it right in it. And the only one I could find at the price that I could afford with the mileage that I wanted was about 1,000 miles round trip. So one day, Dad and I went and picked up that engine, and I had the money saved up for the engine, the fuel, the food. I had enough money for a hotel if need be, but I told Dad, I said, look, I work nights, you work days. I said, once we get back into our state, or even 200 miles from us, I'm probably not going to want to stop. You can crash, do whatever you got to do, but I'm going to keep going. The day started out, he woke me up real early. I'd only gotten a few hours of sleep. We jumped in his truck, and I passed out in the passenger seat while he drove, and he got us several hours into the trip before I even woke up. But that was just such a fun time. I also remember when he got sick, there were a lot of times that when everyone was free, we would just go over to his house, and we would be sitting in the living room or back in his bedroom just talking about anything and everything. And we had such a... I don't know if you can call it a great time because of how sick he was. Everyone knew what was going to happen. But there were times that, we were cutting up laughing till we were crying over silly things and just making a ton of memories that I don't think I'll ever lose. Hanging out back there in the bedroom. And it was just a great family bonding experience. I guess about 10, 12 years ago, we started another family tradition that lasted for several years. Instead of spending all of our money on Christmas presents, and at this point my sister and I were both young adults and working, what we would do is we would each buy one member of the family one kind of small present, something that would just be handy or useful that they get enjoyment out of, but not overly expensive. And then we'd all pool our money and rent a cabin at a national park about 2 hours from the house and stay there for several days, close to a week sometimes. And that was so much fun because the scenery down that road was amazing. There was one year it was snowing, and it was Christmas in paradise. Just perfect. Had a hot tub, everyone had their own bedroom, had a gas log fireplace, pool tables. And so I remember one time we went out to the hot tub, and it's like 20 degrees outside, and we go to get out, and my feet are freezing to the deck outside where the hot tub is because it's so cold. But we always had a blast doing that. When I was 16 years old, we took a cross-country family road trip. Ended up spending over 5,000 miles together in a jammed old minivan for 2.5 weeks, and I'll never forget the memories that were made there. It was so fun. We had such a good time. Got to see more things in a week, in 2 weeks, than I had seen or experienced in years prior. Just due to I had a whole new appreciation for the vastness of the West. One of the games that we played coming across Utah, we took a little 2-lane road, US Highway 50. If you're ever out there, I highly recommend it. The loneliest road in America. If you see a gas station, fill up, period. We were coming across that road, I'm driving, and the road is just buttery smooth, like fresh asphalt in the eastern states, but everywhere. And straight as a pin. It's a 2-lane road, but the speed limit is 75 miles an hour. And if you look out past the road bed, there's no indication that you're moving. The mountains are so far off in the distance, you can't tell that you're moving that fast. Part 2 coming up. Getting the phone call.